Let's get this party started again. Where's my recap? Alright, so we are still on Sara's journey, and on the last episode, we saw that Sara and Tsugumi were fighting, and Sara was protecting a pendant. And seeing Sara hurt made the kid get so angry that he started attacking Tsugumi. And then later, Sara and Kid share a somber moment on top of a cosmic whale, and Sara sang a song. These are all things that actually happened. I am not making this up. And Sara's pendant that she was protecting earlier had a holographic image that only she and Kid can see. Kid taught Sara how to swim, which is weirdly a little sexual, but it's fine. It's just fine. And Sara laments not knowing who her brother was because they were separated since they were young. And that's our recap right now, so yeehaw. Neat. Alright, so this is the next day. The next morning, I overslept. I thought I might be in trouble with everyone, but it seemed like I wasn't the only one. The late start pushed our breakfast time back later than usual. Alright, 8:37 a.m. We wanted to change of pace to do something fun, so we spread out a blanket in the park's rest area. I'm just gonna check if I can skip this. Haha! I can. Look at it go. Whee! Talking about eating sandwiches. Carving. Oh. We saw Coco carving something, I guess. Neat! Wow. Fun. Oh wait, I think this is the one where it's just like, I don't think Kid can see Coco or something. I forget. Let's roll with it. Time passed. We all split up and roamed around freely, doing what we wanted to do. Some wandered the complex. Some tried to open up communications with the outside, and some tried to think of ways to escape. But no one gave up, and everyone was working on ways to get out of our difficult situation. But it was all in vain. We made no breakthroughs. The evening of the 5th rolled around. Alright, wow. 4:22 p.m. I guess they really just didn't do anything. I wandered aimlessly around Lemu by myself. Honestly, I hadn't been able to forget what Sara had said to me the day before, or more accurately, that morning. I couldn't seem to clear my mind. At breakfast, Sara was her same old self. I thought that a little walk might make for a change of mood. Next thing I knew, I was heading for the cosmic whale. See, I told you I didn't make that up. And I got into A. That's right, that's the egg thing. I rode down to the 3rd floor that was flooded with water. There was no guarantee that Sara would be there. And I looked around thinking. And that's when it happened. I saw her again. Hey! I saw a small figure cutting across the corridor. I can skip through that. I think that's when he saw Coco. But it's fine. Anyway, we're in the whale room now. So, things happened. I didn't see her anywhere. Instead, I saw Sara sitting in the same place we had sat earlier on the whale. Sara was singing softly. God, okay. I'm not singing. You can't catch me singing. And this is annoying because it's like there's actual audio, but I put it on to no audio for the voices because it's all in Japanese. She sang Moon Sprite, something moon, waiting inside a dream. Tonight's a story by moonlight. This is completely unskippable too. So, any day now. Hoping the wait will be short. It won't be. It'll be long. Sleeping curled and snug. Something something mom. Oh my god. She sings slow. There's a song later that's supposed to be the same tone. Sleeping in mother's arms. It's usually like whenever you talk to Sara alone, it'll play and I'll make note of it. That's really what the song is supposed to sound like. Anyway, back to the game. Her voice echoed quietly as if it were seeping into the night sky. Somehow it sounded faintly sad and lonely. I couldn't make myself call out to Sara. Okay, 8:19 p.m. I guess we just looked at her and left. Okay. My eyes opened to the jarring sound of metal screaming under strain. I didn't know if it was because of my broken arm. Oh yeah, that's right. I broke my arm. Helping Takeshi with something, but that happened in the other story too, so. I didn't know if it was because of my broken arm or the swimming with Sara, but I felt sluggish and feverish, so I took some medicine and went to bed. Vibration shook through Lemu. I wonder if something happened. By the time I had gotten out of the infirmary, the shaking had stopped. I thought that if I went to the security office, I might learn what happened. Ah, there's Tsugumi. Tsugumi, what happened? I don't know. I just got here myself. Tsugumi said it coolly. Then Sara appeared in the room.
Komachi-san, Kid-san, you two are here.
Sara, did something happen?
Yes, water breached the cosmic whale room.
Water breached it?
Yes, the room's wall collapsed under the water pressure and started flooding.
Are we alright?
The doors to the cosmic whale room have been sealed, so there will be no effect on other areas.
What about everybody else?
Tanaka-san and Kurinari-san are in the control room.
You and Takeshi? What about Sara?
Matsunaga-san, her last confirmed location is in the corridor near the cosmic whale.
Corridor?
Sensors in that area are not functioning at full capacity, so I have not been able to verify this. Presently, it is completely cut off.
Where is Sara?
I am unable to confirm her location anywhere in Lemu.
No way! She's in that room! I couldn't stand staying in that room, so I ran outside. Tsugumi followed on my heels. Tsugumi and I went down to the area housing the cosmic whale room. Sara, can you open the doors to the room?
That is impossible. But I am sorry. If I open these doors, this sector will flood as well. If the generator room floods, then we will be powerless. I cannot do that.
What about Sara? Sara! Calm down. Tsugumi. Sara, are the emergency corridors around here still functioning? Is there any way to get to the room through them?
I will check. Yes, there is a corridor directly above the cosmic whale. However, it is not possible to reach the cosmic whale from there. That area is completely flooded.
But we could enter it by diving, right?
Yes, but...
I'll go. I've got to save Sara. With that broken arm, what are you gonna do?
But...
You'll start drowning, and in the end, I'll have to go save you, too. I'll go. But, Tsugumi, you're injured, so keep quiet. Sara, where's the nearest entrance to the corridor that'll get me there?
Using the connecting staircase out of here and to the left.
Tsugumi started running towards Sora, was done speaking. I chased after Tsugumi. Tsugumi, why? There's no other choice. We're in this, together. Tsugumi! Tsugumi sprinted to the emergency stairs and climbed the emergency corridor, and I followed right behind her. When I got to the corridor, Tsugumi was running for the cosmic whale room. I hurriedly ran after her. Tsugumi had turned the corner, already opened the hatch to the room, and was peering in. Tsugumi, wait! Tsugumi glanced at me. Wait here. Saying that, Tsugumi leaped into the hatch. Tsugumi! Sora, is Tsugumi okay?
I don't know. Now we can only trust her and wait.
Only Sora's voice echoed around me. She was speaking through a different set of emergency speakers, and her voice cracked and mixed with static, just like me.
Tanaka-san and Kurinari-san said that they will wait for you in the infirmary.
Jeez, like they're predicting some shit, I guess. Okay. I looked into the emergency hatch again. Inside, the hatch was brimming with cold water. Frustrated and feeling powerless because I could only wait, I tried to be patient. Tsugumi, please, find Sara. Sara. Time passed. It might not have really been that long, but at the time it felt like an eternity to me. Oh! Special illustration, Tsugumi with a body of Sara on top. Sugumi came bursting out of the water. She was carrying Sara on her back. Sara! Let's get her out of the water. Okay. I forgot the pain in my arm and I yanked Sara up. Sara was like ice, cold and hard. In her firmly clenched fist was the pendant. Sugumi put her hand on the back of her neck. There's no pulse. Well, if you check the back of her neck, you're not going to find a pulse, but it's fine, whatever. They're doctors. No, Sara! It can't be! Sara! Sara, wake up, Sara! I shook Sara's cold body. Sugumi tried to calm me down and spoke. Anyway, let's get her to the infirmary. Oh, we see her very pale ass body. We carried her to the infirmary and laid her on the examination table. Sugumi immediately started giving her a heart massage. Okay. What? Okay. Takeshi and you were fiddling with the machines around the examination table trying to learn more about Sara's status. Her heart is really tense, you guys. Okay. Takeshi got out the defibrillator. This is serious, guys. A beep signaled that it was charged, and Takeshi placed 2 pads on Sara's chest. Whap! Sara's body jumped. Sugumi put her hand on Sara's neck and shook her head. Oh, jeez. Okay. She went right back to massaging her heart. Damn. One more time. The beep echoed again, and the electric pulse again. Sara's face was drained of color, and her lips were blue. Her body was stiff and unresponsive. All I could do was watch the 3 of them busily work to save her. There was nothing in the drawers of memory accessible to me that told me how to act in that situation. Images of time that I had spent with Sara up until then flashed through my mind, and the voices in the room barely reached me. Finally, Sugumi relaxed her hands, and with a look of grief, she moved away from Sara. Takeshi also put the defibrillator back on the table. No! Damn, why? What happened? Hey, why are you all stopping? Hey, why do you have those looks on your faces? Kid. It can't be! Sara! Sara! Sara, wake up! Wake up, Sara! I started trying to copy Sugumi's heart massage. Sorry. The 3 of them watched the sad looks on their faces. I'm sorry. In the chat, I just read wet ass Sara with a P. It's too much. It's so dumb. Okay. Anyway, the 3 of them watched with sad looks on their faces. Why do you all want to give up? Sara isn't going to die. She can't die here. I continued to pump her chest frantically. Oh, we're going through memories of her. Sara! She's in the elevator. Look at her. Look at this sad little photo. It's like, bye! Sara, open your eyes! Yeah, that time that she sang a song at my thumb. How could I forget? Open your eyes! That's when she fell on top of me, I think. Or I fell on top of her? Question mark? Kid. You put her hand on my shoulder, but I shook her hand off and continued pushing at Sara's chest. This is when they were spending time on the cosmic whale, and she was holding a lighter. This looks like, if you didn't know what was going on, this looks really silly. Don't die! Open your eyes! Sara! That's when she was singing at her pendant. Why do you care now? You were the one that ran away alone. This is a voice that he heard in his imaginary prison cell that he was in once. I heard a voice. No, I didn't run away. I wanted to help you. I put more power into the hand that was using to push on her chest. Her ribs bent under the strain. Okay. Still, I kept pumping. Okay. I told you, Sara. Sara, I told you I would come to help you. I told you I'd come to help you, didn't I? I prayed for Sara's heart to start beating. Sara! You said that you'd wait like a good girl. You said that you'd wait, didn't you? I pushed a little harder. A little water came out of Sara's mouth. I can't cough because I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Let me take a sip of water. She started breathing faintly, and more water came out of her mouth. Sara! Sara! I shook Sara desperately. Sara's eyes opened lightly. Oh, Sara! That instant, the tension in the atmosphere in the infirmary eased. Oh, thank goodness, Sara. Sara. I heard a song coming from somewhere. It was soft, but somehow lonely voice singing. Oh, this is again Moon Sprite shouldering a long bow. It's the same song again, and it's going to be slow again because it's audio that's playing in the game. Waiting inside a dream. Tonight, a story by moonlight. This is like a completely unmemorable bit of lyrics, too. Hoping the wait will be short. Sleeping curled and snug. Waiting. Sleeping in mother's arms. It's an anagram. No, it's not. Water sprite lifting a pair of paddles. I wish I could go through this, but I can't. Waiting inside a dream. Tonight, the whirlpool demon waiting for a boat. Oh. I'm the whirlpool demon, hoping the wait will be short. Oh my god. Rock, rock, rock to sleep. Sleeping, sleeping, held by the ocean. Whirlpool demon is what a toddler calls the potty. Okay, it's over. May 6th, Saturday. Woo! 10:26 a.m. I awoke with a nostalgic feeling. I found myself in a narrow bed in the infirmary. Looking at the white ceiling, I gently nodded off. My memory slowly came back to me, floating at the cosmic whale and saving Sara. Sara coming back to life. My fever worsening and then me collapsing. I looked over at the bed next to mine. Sara. Sara was asleep on the bed next to me. Her breathing was regular, and her cheeks flushed with a healthy pink. Feeling a bit relieved, I let myself half doze. From far away, I could hear faint voices. They seemed to come from an incredible distance and were all jumbled together, but they all sounded like Sugumi and Takeshi. Their voices echoed slightly. Their words were too faint for me to make out what they were saying, and they were talking about Hamel or Harm or something like that. It's probably Himmel, you guys. Words that I thought I'd heard before, but the sounds quickly became meaningless, garbled in my mind. After a while, the voices stopped. Out of habit, I touched my pinky to the thumb of my left hand. Okay. It felt a bit strange. I lifted my left hand and stared at the thumb. Something was strange, out of place. The blurriness of my vision suddenly came into focus. The scar was gone. Oh! Sara was singing out a scar on my thumb before. Why? How could it be gone? I hurriedly sat up. I stared at my left hand again. The scar was nowhere to be found. I was sure there would have been a scar there before. I remembered noticing it when I opened the elevator to rescue Sara. Had it just been a figment of my imagination? No, I'm sure it hadn't been. I was positive there had been a scar. But why had the scar suddenly vanished? A sense of loss flooded through me, making me feel like I had a gaping hole in my heart. I sensed that I had lost something critically important, but I was unsure of what. That was how I felt. Sara! Sara! Forgetting that Sara was sleeping, I shouted for Sora.
Yes, Kid-san? What is it?
Sora's voice answered me. Sora, did you do something to me?
Something? What do you mean?
Don't pretend like you don't know. There was a scar on my left hand. But it's gone now.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Sora appeared in the entrance of the room. What are you talking about?
While you were sleeping, I extracted it.
Extracted what?
Perhaps you should come over here.
This is just gonna be like scar tissue on a table. Okay. I approached the examination table as Sora suggested.
This.
Sora pointed at a small shard suspended by a manipulator arm above the examination table.
This was embedded in your thumb, so I extracted it.
What gave you the right to do that? It could have been a clue leading to my past. I let loose on Sora without thinking.
Yes, you are exactly right. However, no good can come of leaving a foreign object in your body to fester. More importantly, Kid, do you recall seeing this fragment before?
No, how could I? It didn't make sense to me why Sora would ask such a thing.
This fragment has an image recorded on it.
Sora continued to speak calmly. An image?
Would you like to see it?
So, I don't know if I expressed it earlier, but in the previous episode, Sara's pendant was cracked and there was a piece missing. I wonder if that's the piece. I pinched the shard that had been buried in my thumb, between my thumb and between my fingers. This? Aha! And now we see an image. It had the same holographic image as in Sara's pendant. There was an image of a man floating there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
This hologram was designed so that it can only be seen when viewed through the light of a certain wavelength. Right now, I'm using Limit to shine the proper light on it. I could not confirm the date of the manufacture of this hologram, but is undoubtedly very old. Its makeup is fundamentally different from the ones being sold at Leimu's kiosks. In the past, holograms were recorded using an interference pattern made of an object beam and a reference beam. But, put simply, the object beam is the light reflected off the object. The reference beam is the light that interferes with the object beam. Do you understand?
Sora continued without giving me time to think.
And now comes the important part. In order to make this hologram appear, light, which is the same wavelength as the reference beam used to record the image, must be shined upon it. So to sum it up, it's like this. The image on the fragmented hologram was recorded using light that was at a certain wavelength. And in order to see the image, you must shine the light of the same wavelength on it. It cannot be seen under fluorescent light. You must use light generated from the heat-emitting light source, such as sunlight or a flame from a lighter. And, Sora continued her explanation, she said the special wavelength of the light was infrared, around 850 nanometers. And that's ordinary people couldn't see infrared light. She went on to say that if a person was able to see infrared, then they would be able to see in the dark. But that they could only see objects that emitted heat. Put another way, objects that gave off heat also emitted infrared light. So if you could see infrared rays, then you could tell the temperature of something without having to touch it. You would not be able to see this image unless you can see infrared light. The fact that you can see this means that you can see infrared light, Kid-san.
But what about Sara? Does that mean that Sara can too?
Yes, both of you have a very unique ability to see infrared light.
Thinking back on it, that probably explained why Takeshi and you couldn't see the image on the pendant. But why was this hologram in my finger? I trembled as I said that. It's the same image as in Sara's pendant. Are you saying that the missing piece of the pendant has been in my thumb?
That is the only conceivable explanation. The surface and shape of the fragment match the pendant perfectly.
But why?
That, Kid-san, is because you and Matsunaga-san are siblings.
What? It can't be.
It is the same reason that the both of you have the ability to see infrared light. It is probably because you both carry the same genes.
No. No. No, no. I didn't think that my sister was hot in that bathing suit earlier. Sorry, needed a sip.
Kid-san, why wouldn't that make you happy? You found a blood relative. Is there any better possible way to recover your memory?
No, no. I held my head and crouched down.
In either case, it is a fact and you should accept it. While you two were asleep, I performed a DNA analysis on you both.
Okay, Sara, you're doing too much. Okay. The results are indicated on the display.
The probability that you are brother and sister is nearly 100%.
No, 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 no! Suddenly, the wall to my memory that had tried so hard to destroy, but had unable to breach, crumbled. Like a dam, like a dam that was holding back the overflow of my memory, it burst, unleashing a torrent of images that flooded into my mind. Memories of my life, in no apparent order, flashed across my mind like random slides appearing on a screen. And from one to the next, they floated up and vanished. My mind couldn't handle the flood of memories. And then came the darkness. I heard a lullaby coming from somewhere. I swear to God, if we have to go through this lullaby one more time. Please, no. It'd be better if there was no lyrics and it's just doing it and I wouldn't even know. I might be doing that. I can't go through it. What is... Okay, I guess there's a song right now. Sorry. Well, I'll just sit here talking about, it's a good thing that we found out that that was our sister this entire time. Okay, I gradually opened my eyes. I was lying on a hard bed. Let me have another drink. I heard a voice crying from outside. Oh, special illustration of a little girl with a teddy bear, and I bet you this is Sara, and she's got braids. That's what braids look like. Anyway, there was a girl surrounded by a group of bullies in an open space. It was Sara. The kids were being cruel, jeering at her and making fun of her in only the way that kids could. And I ran up to Sara. The bullies scattered like baby spiders in the wind. That's an image. Okay. Sara said that her precious pendant had been broken. Sara clutched the pendant firmly in her hand. I bent over to pick up the fragment from it, and I felt a sudden shock from behind. I was plunged forward, and with a sharp pain, the shard was buried into my thumb. Oh, look at this. Look at all these jokers laughing at this kid. Special illustration of Ghostman. The kids that always bullied Sara had encircled us. The laughter and howls of the tormentors echoed around us. You bullies! How could you do this to Sara? Forgetting myself, I lunged at the mob of kids. They beat me mercilessly, and as I lay on the ground in that open space, I faced skyward. Satisfied with what they had done to me, the bullies had left. Sara came and held out her hands to me.
You're so brave, Oni-chan.
She smiled as she said it. Even though I lost. Blood continued to drip from my finger. Not wanting to worry Sara, I pretended that everything was fine and dismissed it as nothing. I didn't even say anything to our teacher. I didn't go to the doctor. I just silently endured the pain. It seemed to me that to tell someone of it would mean that I had lost. In time, the wind closed up. One day, a nice lady in a suit came, and she told us that there was a place we could go where things could be better. Saying that, the lady held out her hand. We could see things that other people couldn't. At first, we thought our abilities were normal, but everyone had shunned us. The lady said that she wanted to study us. And I decided to go along with the idea. Our caretakers at the orphanage where we lived were happy to see us leave because they thought we were troublemakers. We fell right into their trap. Oh, hey, look, it's that prison room that we were in before. They locked us in a small hospital room. Day in and day out, we were marched from that room to the research institute. At night, moonlight would stream from the lone window. The only things I remembered were the Labelic logos on the door that we passed every day, and the white frocks of the research employees. Every night, the voice of Sara crying in the room next to me. One day, there was something in the air that was different from the other days. When we were taken to the room, we were led to a research office in a different area. People who I'd never seen before took me away. Sara was alone when I left there. Oni-chan! I could hear Sara's screams. I shook off the adult hands and ran to where Sara was. The researchers tried to block my path. Sara! Oni-chan! Sara, wait for me! I'll come back for you, I promise. I will come find you. Be a good girl and wait for me. I'll be good and wait for you. But come for sure, come get me for sure, okay? I'll wait forever. I had promised. That's how things were. Back then, I had promised. I'd promised to go get her, but I hadn't gone. I couldn't go. I moved to another facility and was taken to a new home after a while. My foster parents were good people, and they were good to me even if I didn't get out of line. But they had sold their souls to and were controlled by Labelic. I passed my time under their forgiving but ever-present eyes, unable to search for Sara. Still, there were times where I did my best to find leads to her. Oh, I forgot to mention that this song that's playing is to the tune of that lullaby that is completely soundless that we keep hearing. Anyway, wahoo! But I still didn't know where the research facility was, and something would always get in my way. After a while, I couldn't search anymore. I just hadn't been able to help Sara with my limited powers. But no matter what excuses I came up with, the result was the same. I had abandoned Sara. And in that isolated clinic room, into which the cold moonlight shined, I couldn't keep my promise. Even then, Sara was on the other side of the door, and I knew that she was still waiting for me in that miserable little room, still believing in me, just as I had promised. The sense of guilt I felt overpowered me. It left me with an agonizing sense of hopelessness and utter despair. There was nothing I could do. I didn't have any other choice. What else could I have done? It's noon o'clock p.m. When I opened my eyes, I was lying in the bed in the infirmary. I didn't know if someone had brought me there or if I had dragged myself unconsciously. I looked at my watch without thinking. Not much time had elapsed since I passed out. Lying on the bed, I looked up to the ceiling and thought about the events leading up to that point. The reason I had known that it was too hot to go in the generator room was my infrared vision, and the moonlight coming from the inverter unit had been the same thing. In the darkness, I had mistaken the heat from the inverter as moonlight, and the shock that I had felt when I met Sara made sense too. We were siblings after all, and I had probably known it in the back of my mind even without my memory. And that's why, the first time I had seen Sara, and why she grabbed my thumb in the darkness, why she had sung that lullaby that time. Really? You don't know it? Oh, I see, that's right. It seemed to me that Sara had probably noticed that we were brother and sister, Ew, that makes it worse because she was like weirdly flirting with us. That's gross. Ew, 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 ew. So I raised myself up. Sarah was still asleep in the bed next to me. I stood next to Sarah's pillow and stared down at her face. The memory was still a little jumbled, but there was no mistaking that face. It was Sara. Little Sara had grown to be 16. She had her quinceañera at some point and you weren't there. You didn't get to see her turn into a woman. It had to be her. I'm sure it was Sara. The sister I had made that I had made a promise to find, but then broken it. I felt so guilty and ashamed, but I couldn't look at Sarah's face. It was hard just being there. I didn't know what to say to Sara. What excuses could I make to her? No matter what I said to her, it would all ring hollow. I wanted to get out of there before Sara woke up. I walked towards the door.
Oni-chan?
With her voice, my legs stopped. I really wish that they just translated that to something else, but it's fine. It's fine. I hate saying it. Anyway, I didn't have the courage to turn around.
You're my Oni-chan, right?
Sara continued talking. Each of her words was like a stab in the heart.
Oni-chan?
No. I spit out the words without thinking.
Huh?
You're wrong about me.
That can't be. You're my Oni-chan, right?
No. I sensed that Sara was about to get up from the bed, so I tried to leave.
Wait! Oni-chan, wait!
Her voice sounded like she was, wait, hold on. Her voice sounded just like when she had cried out to me when she was a child and I froze, unable to move.
You're my Oni-chan! You are, aren't you?
Sara grabbed my shoulders.
Hey, why don't you say something? Look at me!
Sara circled around in front of me, all the time holding my shoulders, but I couldn't bear to look Sara in the face and I turned away.
Hey, why won't you look at me? Hey, look at me! I said look at me!
No, no, no! I shook off Sarah's hands.
Ah! Sara!
Sara threw her arms around me, hugging me tightly. Sara's eyes stared directly at me.
Why? Why are you denying me? You're my Oni-chan, right? You are, aren't you?
No, I'm...
Why not? I know you are. Oni-chan, you're my Oni-chan. I waited for you. I waited and waited. I waited for you to come. Oni-chan.
Sara fell to the ground and I said nothing to her. I just ran out of the room. That was right. That was right. I ran away. I ran away from Sara and my past. Boy. I squatted in the small room in the back of the warehouse. All I could do was just keep running away from Sara and my past. I was such a coward. Overcome by the memories that had come rushing back to me, I ran away from my sister. I couldn't even accept my own weakness. I denied myself. It was less scary than acknowledging what I had done. I was such a coward. Had I known that it would happen, I would have never wanted my memory back. Things were better when I didn't remember anything. Crouched there in the corner, I was paralyzed. I couldn't face Sara, my own sister. All I could do was let the time pass. My memory had been completely restored, apart from recent events. I knew my age, address, and phone number. I also remembered my foster mother and father. Still, there was one crucial thing that I couldn't remember. That was my name. What was my name? What was I called? I didn't know. Why was that the only thing I couldn't remember? As long as I couldn't remember that, I felt incomplete, as if the essence of my existence were concentrated into my name. As long as I couldn't remember my name, I couldn't feel whole. That's how I felt. No matter how much else I remembered, that one point escaped me. And then I thought back about what it was that made me lose my memory. The massive guilt I felt towards Sara. I wondered if that's why I repressed my memory. But there was too much about that theory that didn't make sense. I had lost my memory before meeting Sara and before the accident at Lemu. I couldn't remember what I was doing just before then or why I had come to Lemu. But something didn't seem right about that either. I couldn't imagine why only my name and the recent events wouldn't come back to me. I had already remembered Sara. It would make sense to me to remember everything. I wondered what kind of amnesia it might have been. 9:31 p.m. A sudden sound and shaking made me look up. The next instant's warning alarms started shrieking. All around me, the squeal of straining metal echoed from the structure. The shaking continued on and off. What? I ran out of the room. Water? I noticed something strange as I emerged into the corridor. Water was flowing in. I couldn't believe that water could have reached there. Kid, you, what is this? Did something happen? I'll explain later. For now, you just gotta hurry over here. What? I found an exit we can escape through. Where? I'll explain later. Just hurry. With those words of encouragement, Yu started running. She turned the corridor, heading towards the stairs leading to the emergency corridor. What about everybody else? Kurinari is going to get Mayo. Sugumi is already at the emergency corridor. We dashed towards the stairs of the emergency corridor and climbed up to it. Takeshi, Sugumi, and Sara were already gathered there. Hurry! We don't have much time! What happened? Just hurry! Saying that, we started running ahead of everyone else. Sugumi followed suit. You know what? I wish that this was like... It's like, hurry up! You gotta go! We gotta get out of here! Happy birthday to you! Surprise! A different game. Anyway. Listen, Lame. Listen, Lame is already starting to collapse. You pushed on my back. I started running. We were finally able to make contact with the surface, and now the emergency stairs are accessible. But if we don't hurry, they're going to flood. So just hurry! You explained the situation from behind me. I followed Takeshi and Sugumi as we sprinted towards the distance of the emergency stairs, and as soon as we reached the stairs, Takeshi and Sugumi were already climbing. Hurry, this way! Takeshi's voice rang from above. I ran, following the sound of their footsteps. When they were trying to escape, Leimu began to shake and screech as the metal clashed with metal. But we kept climbing, moving towards the top. Only the sound of everyone's labored breathing and running footsteps echoed throughout the emergency stairs. Just a little more! We're almost there! Takeshi shouted up ahead. Takeshi's voice was full of hope. And that's when we realized it. Mayo! Mayo isn't here! You shouted that. Huh? What did you say? I stopped and looked back. You stood on the stairs, stunned and looking downward. What happened? She was right behind me. What happened? Takeshi and the others came down the stairs. Kurinari. Mayo isn't here. God damn it, didn't you check to see that she was behind you? She was right behind me from the start. Partway up, I got into climbing. The sound of the stairs shook violently, and there was a large sound. At the same time, the lights that dimly lit the stairs went out. Damn, a blackout. We can't go now. If we double back, everyone's gonna be a goner. But I'll go. Huh? I'll go back. Everyone keep going. Without waiting for a reply, I started rushing down the stairs that I had just climbed. Hey, kid! It's impossible! It's already starting to flood! What do you think you're gonna do? Their voices rang out behind me. Swim! It's pitch black below! No problem! I can see! I could actually see the different parts of the stairs by their different temperatures. It's the first time that I'd ever been thankful for my unusual vision. I went down the stairs and came out of Zweiderstock's emergency corridor. It looked like the emergency power had already died. I wondered where Sara might be. I thought frantically. If she had turned back partway, then she wouldn't have probably made it to the Jitterstock, but I couldn't be sure. If she had gone all that way down to the Jitterstock, then I would never make it in time if I looked around Zweiderstock first. I didn't know what to do. Hold on. One sec. I had decided I would start looking on Jitterstock. He's deciding between Jitterstock or Zweiderstock. I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading it. I'm gonna go with Zweiderstock. No, I thought Sara was somewhere in Zweiderstock. I don't know why, but I was sure of it. She was probably somewhere in Zweiderstock. I knew it might be a meaningless hunch, But maybe it was our sibling bond talking to me. Sara and I had the same blood in our veins. That was my thinking. Probably my imagination, but it was all I had to bet on. I opened the emergency hatch and saw that the water had already covered 3/4 of the corridor. Without hesitating, I threw myself in. The water flowed unpredictably, with whirlpools forming in various places. Whirlpool demons. Sorry. I need a sip of water. Alright. I endured the pain in my right arm and swam desperately. First, I looked in the security office. There was no source of heat that looked like Sara, and from there I made my way to the warehouse, but Sara wasn't there. I checked the merry-go-round, but she wasn't there either. Ahead of me was the elevator hall. Again, no Sara. I swam back up the corridor. Water had completely covered the entrance to the infirmary. I took a breath and dove underwater. I put my hand on the door and peered inside, and there was Sara. Her body heat was the same. Her body heat made her stand out brightly against the cold surrounding darkness. I went to the infirmary and floated up to the surface. Sara looked surprised when I broke through the surface. Oni-chan. Sara, you're all right. Why are you... I promised, didn't I? I promised you that I'd find you, right? Alright, May 7th, Sunday. Finally, the roaring sound stopped and the flow of water slowed. The squeaking and screeching of metal on metal also died down. It seemed like the flooding had stopped. Oh, look at us. We're in the water together. There was still a little air left in the ceiling of the infirmary. It was kind of like a cup filled upside down, but mostly with water. Okay. Sara and I were floating there. It looks like things have quieted down a bit. I looked at Sara. In the darkness, the only thing giving off a gentle aura was the light that was Sara. Are you okay, Sara? Yeah, I'm okay, just a little cold. Sara forced a smile for me. Sara, why did you come back? All you had to do was go a little further and you would have been safe. Do you promise you won't get mad? Mad? Why would I get mad? Well, just tell me. I thought something was strange. From the beginning, Sara had always seemed like she had the upper hand in our relationship. But once we knew that we were brother and sister, it felt like things had been reversed. Sara was relying on me, like when we were kids. Well, this. Sara lifted her right hand. Pinched between her fingers was the shard of the mirror from my finger. Hey, it's that piece of the mirror. Yeah, I realized that when we were running that this had been left here. So you came back for something like this? It's not just anything. It was something that you fought so hard to protect. Sara. But this isn't something worth risking your life to come back for. You had the pendant anyway. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you got involved in all of this. I chose to turn back. You can't blame yourself for that. No, I'm sorry. After that, Sara didn't speak for a while. Sara? To tell the truth, it wasn't just that. Huh? I was scared to go outside. Scared of what? I thought that once I got outside, everything would return to like it was. And once I thought about that, I couldn't move anymore. Like it was? What are you talking about? I thought that Lablik would start controlling us again and all my freedom would be taken away. And I thought that I'd never be free again. I was paralyzed. Paralyzed? Ever since we've been trapped in Lemu, everyone has been trying to escape, but I was happy. Nobody was looking over me. I had been able to decide things for myself. And I thought about that. I was so happy. Ever since I entered Lablik's Research Institute, I haven't felt free even once. Sara's words left me stunned. I wondered why I never thought of things that way before. Lablik had written me off early on. I figured that it was probably because the only special power I had was seeing infrared light. But Sara was probably different. The way that she had been able to use computers, you had called her a first-rate hacker. It was probably only the beginning. After I left the institute, Sara must have lived under constant observation and undergone experiments. Thinking about it then amazed me.
Oh, when all of this started, I thought this accident was just some kind of test of my abilities or something. And then when I found out that Sora was an RSD generated thing, I suspected that she was here to observe me. But since Nakia was here, I realized that it was probably just an accident. And it made me happy. Until now, everywhere I've gone, there's been someone watching me. Even in high school or when I went around town. It was pointless trying to escape. The only place I had to go back to was the research lab. And back at the lab, the only thing waiting for me was experiments and tests. I've never had a taste of freedom. And I suppose that's why I was happy about the accident. Maybe I shouldn't say it. I mean, everyone's so desperate and everything. But I've never had freedom like this.
Sara. That was all I could say. Sara's each and every word made my heart ache. I knew it wasn't Sara's intention, but it felt like every word of hers was a confession to me. Of course, I had been under surveillance as well, but it had been nowhere near as strict. As long as we didn't do anything out of the ordinary, it felt like there was no one there. I had been living carefree the entire time. But Sara had been under Lablick's careful watch the entire time. She was their guinea pig. Why hadn't I gone to help Sara earlier? I promised that I would, but I hadn't. Of course I had tried, but everything I did was blocked by Lablick's far-reaching influence. Still, I knew that there could be no excuses. Why hadn't I tried harder? Why? Oni-chan? Sara was calling to me. I had been daydreaming in my own world.
Oni-chan, thank you.
For what?
Because you came.
No, I left you there all by yourself. I didn't come for you. Yes, you did.
And I want to thank you.
Sara said that and smiled. The smile also seemed to be tinged with resignation.
I don't care anymore. It's okay to die here.
Sara, what are you saying?
I finally tasted freedom, and I was able to meet you. If it means that I have to go back to the life I had before, then I'd rather dying here now would be better. Up until now, I had never had the freedom to die.
Her words shocked me into silence. I had no idea what Sara's life up until now had been so hard, but no, Sara.
Oni-chan?
Don't talk like that. We're gonna live, no matter what. I wasn't about to let Sara die there. There was absolutely no way I would let Sara die. If you die here, then that means that you've lost to them. If you're gonna live, survive, no matter what. It was my responsibility to help Sara live. Sara, let's go, I said.
Where?
To the ocean's surface.
How?
We'll swim.
It's impossible. The pressure will...
It'll be okay. The air pressure here has been compressed by the water's pressure. We're about 4.5 atmospheres here. Even if we go out to the ocean from here, our lungs will be okay.
But still...
We don't know that help will come for us, and even if it does, it might be too late. Besides, it's too dangerous for us to stay here. Listen, Sara, we're breathing at 4.5 atmospheres. If we stay here, we're in danger of oxygen poisoning or nitrogen narcosis, and we'll have no idea how long Leimu will hold. I don't know how he knows all this, but it's cool. It's fine. It's whatever. If Leimu collapses, then we'll get dragged down with it. It's too dangerous to stay here.
Hey.
What?
You know I can't swim, right?
You'll be okay. You're kind of swimming right now, aren't you? You'll just have to remember the lessons that I gave you.
But it isn't the same. I'm just floating right now. It's different than swimming in the ocean.
Sara, you'll be okay. Don't worry. I'll lead you. I'll pull you all the way.
No, it's not possible.
We can do it. Believe in your brother. I came here. I came to help you, Sara.
Oni-chan.
Sara, believe in me. Sara clasped the pendant that she was wearing around her neck. Let's go, Sara.
Okay, Oni-chan.
This is terrible. I pulled Sara along with me and we left the infirmary. We moved from air pocket to air pocket, looking desperately for a place where the wall had collapsed in. And when we finally found a tear big enough for us to squeeze through, we doubled back to the nearest air pocket. We took a number of short breaths to boost the oxygen level in our blood. Finally, after a big breath, I grabbed onto Sarah's hand and led her through the hole into the ocean. Wow, look at this. Okay. With the walls of the floor gone, I lost my sense of which way was up and which way was down, but soon I saw a faint light in the water above. I held Sara in my arm and headed for that light. I desperately thrashed my legs and swam with my broken arm. The water pressure was slowly pressing the air from my lungs. Sarah's face was twisted in pain. I was in agony. Still, I swam, struggling to pull Sara towards the light. I kept kicking, believing that everything would be okay if I could make it to the source of the light. Even with all the oxygen squeezed out of my lungs, I was not about to let Sara die there. That thought kept me moving. Slowly, gradually, the light was getting bigger. Sarah's arms squeezed me in desperation. Hoping that to give Sara courage, I gripped her tighter with my left arm. Then, in response, Sara gave me a smile and started trying to swim upwards. I matched her movements, swimming desperately. Come, Sara, let's go, towards the light. I was never going to let Sara go again. I was never going to leave my precious sister behind. Never again. Sara. Dun dun dun! Wow, so this one we didn't even see Himmel. I wonder how many lives are left. God, it's the same thing. Ah! Life reading 1. Sick. Ah! We finished Sara. Alright. Sick. Do I want to watch this again? No, not really. Anyway, I heard a low mechanical sound from far away. The breeze passed through the tree leaves, making them rustle. The same wind gently caressed my cheeks. Wind? Rustling leaves? I opened my eyes slowly. I didn't know where I was for a moment. Had there been such a place in Lemu? I looked up. There was no ceiling. It was just a sprawling, starry sky. It was not like a fake sky like in the Cosmic Whale Room, but a sky that felt broad and infinite. I was on the ground. More precisely, I was on the floating island in Cell Null. Yes, we had swum to it. Nearly 34 meters from Zwiderstock to the surface. Somehow I climbed into the emergency entrance of the Incel Null, holding the unconscious Sara in my arms. I remembered checking to see if Sara was alright. After that, I probably fainted from fatigue and a lack of oxygen. I awoke with a start, looked around, and was relieved to see Sara lying down next to me. Her chest rose and fell faintly. I could hear the regular sound of her breathing. I looked around again. I checked around the edge of Incel Knoll, which was a lush park. I could see the administration center, hotel, and a tower of light behind the trees. It was still dark, so it didn't seem like I'd been unconscious for very long. Maybe about an hour or so. I was impressed that we had been able to swim all the way to the surface. I went over it again in my head. Suddenly, a conversation in the control room with Sara came to mind.
Imagine a 15-story building, or 5 3-story buildings stacked on the top of each other. 5 schools stacked.
No way, I couldn't swim that.
Well, how about a 10-story building? The depths of Swiderstock only amounts to 34 meters.
34 meters. How had I responded to Sora? Hadn't I said that I thought I could swim it? Sora talked about the pressure and said that it was impossible, but even Sora could be wrong. I was able to swim it, Sora. That reminded me, I wondered what had happened to Sora. Had she suffered the equivalent of death from the blackout? No. Sora was RSD generated. She wasn't human. She couldn't die. I knew that, but only Takeshi knew that. Takeshi, that fool, goes back for hologram. Anyway, I knew that, but I had been with her for such a long time. And Sora was, how could I describe it? She was so human. I felt a blunt sense of sadness, as if I had lost a close friend. Sarah's voice pulled me back to reality. It was not time to be thinking about such things. Sarah? Sarah. I shook Sarah's shoulder gently. Sarah opened her eyes slightly. Oni-chan? Her eyes soon grew wide. Sarah hurriedly sat up. She's wet. Covered in a sprite of her that's soaked.
Oni-chan, where are we?
Sarah didn't seem to understand the situation. Sarah, this is Incel Null. So we're safe now. We made it. Over 34 meters from Zoiderstock.
Are we still alive?
Yes, we're still both alive.
We did it! We did it!
Yeah, Sarah, we did it! We survived!
Yeah, thank you, Oni-chan!
I told you to trust me.
Yeah, you did.
Sarah smiled. She suddenly put her hand on her chest. She was probably touching the pendant under her shirt, checking to make sure it was still there. Looking relieved, she pulled the pendant out and grasped it in her hand.
Thank you,
Sarah whispered softly. I knew that the pendant was irreplaceable as a lucky charm for Sarah. Her face suddenly clouded over as she spoke.
Hey, Oni-chan? What happened to Nakyu, Takeshi, and the others?
I think they're alright. By the time I had turned back, they had already climbed fairly high. If they kept going, they would have reached the surface.
Really? That's good to hear.
Sarah looked relieved.
We can't stay here forever.
We made it to the surface safely, but Sarah didn't look very well. Was she worried about being taken back to Lablik after all?
Hey, Sarah?
What? Let's just keep running. Let's run away.
Run away?
Yeah, from then. I mean, from Lablik.
No, it's impossible.
It is possible.
How can you say that?
You know about them, right? Think about it, Sarah. This island has to be in utter chaos, right? Lemu was flooded, the whole complex is completely destroyed, and since you and the others got out from this place, there should be a major confusion, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
They'll be telling everyone how we were left behind in Lemu, and for you and the others, it's the truth. If Lablik has their doubts and tries to look into them, that's as far as they can investigate.
Right.
So right now, everyone, including Lablik's people, will be turning their attention to Lemu and looking under the ocean. They might actually think that we're already dead.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
now's our chance, isn't it?
Yeah, right now is the chance we've been waiting for.
You're so incredible, Oni-chan.
We're already here, so it's impossible for them to find us in Lemu. And if they don't find us in Lemu, they'll expand their search for us to the sea around this area. Right. They might suspect that we died in the current, carried us off somewhere,
and in the meantime we could hide somewhere. They shouldn't be able to follow us, right?
Well, I'm not sure we can pull it all off that easily, but we'll still have to have a big head start before they figure out the truth.
Yeah, right.
Oh, but... Suddenly Sarah looked down.
But how are we gonna escape from this island?
What?
I mean, we can't escape without any way off this island, right?
Yeah, that's... Sarah looked at me as if she was she had full confidence in me. Well... She had me, I hadn't thought about that. I thought it would be alright if I could just make it to the surface. I desperately tried to think of something. I know, I've got it! There should be all kinds of people around right now that aren't normally here, like construction workers and technical staff, so ships and helicopters could come and go frequently. First of all, we should find some clothes and change, especially your uniform. That really stands out.
Oh, you're right.
Sara looked at herself over again. And if we can't get aboard the helicopter, then we can sneak onto a ship and get into port. And after that, we're gonna be alright.
You're amazing. You really thought this through.
Oh, thanks. Sara smiled innocently. I wanted to protect that smile forever. I thought that once more, it would be my mission. Let's go, Sara. Aw, we get a special illustration of her sitting, I guess. I held out my hand to Sara. Sara reached out to me hesitantly. I held out my hand and squeezed it tight. The warmth of her soft hand spread to mine, and for an instant, the memory of Sara holding my thumb flashed across my mind. That fragment in my hand, that shard that had helped me retrieve my memory and rediscover the bond between Sara and me. Let's go, Sara.
Okay, Oni-chan.
We're going to be free!
Free.
Yes, free! Yeah! I would never leave Sara again. I would protect Sara, no matter what. We started running towards freedom. Yeehaw! This story's not over yet because you are in the infinity loop. Aha! Opening the third eye, the last chapter, Finding Coco. Ta-da! Wow, so that's it for now. So, next episode we get to finally beat the game. We're gonna learn more about Coco and all of this other stuff, and why is it that sometimes we have a scar on our thumb and sometimes we don't? Who can say? Alright, well thanks for joining. I'm gonna go now. Bye.